So the Colorado Buffaloes beat Nebraska by a score of 36-14 in Boulder last year. Now they're getting 7 points on the road at Lincoln a year later. What's changed since then? Well, we're going to talk about it, but before we do, I got to tell you about a promotion we have available right now at wagertalk.com. For limited time, you can get all sports, all access, 3 days, only $49. That's valid for any handicapper of your choice, but I recommend this guy right here. We did have a rough weekend. We lost our 5% play with Texas A&M last week. However, our futures card looks a little bit better. And if you're curious about that, you can see in the ticker below all those plays. And as always, no purchase necessary. You're more than welcome to tune in and just check out the free picks. The only thing I ask from you is that you take the time to smash that like button, and that will allow me to keep putting out these videos. So let's get into the free pick. Nebraska, a touchdown favorite, total sitting at 59. The bookmakers are expecting this one to be a little bit more high scoring than last year. And let's talk about last year's game because it looks like a blowout on paper, but if you dig through the box score, it tells a bit of a different story. The fact of the matter was Nebraska turned the ball over 4 times, and that was the difference in the game. And that was a product of poor quarterback play that plagued Nebraska the entire season last year. Jeff Sims and Henrik Harburg were brutal. Nebraska's got themselves a new quarterback in Dylan Raiola, a 5-star recruit that garnered interest from the likes of Ohio State and Georgia. This kid looked like the real deal in week 1, throwing for 238 yards, 2 touchdowns on 19 of 27 passing. And before you tell me, it was against UTEP, hey, Jeff Sims wasn't doing that against anybody. Neither was Henrik Harburg. If you really look at it, Raiola looks really good for a freshman. Another thing, you look at last year's team, the records for both these teams last year. Nebraska was 5-7. They lost 5 games by 3 points or in overtime. Colorado was 4-8, and 6 of those 8 losses came by 6 points or more. Colorado had a terrible offensive line, a terrible defense. Now, have they made improvements this year? I think they have. But is it enough? I don't think so. I think Nebraska has a legit top-tier Big Ten offensive and defensive line, and I don't think Colorado has anywhere near the size and the talent at the line of scrimmage to compete with Nebraska. You look at last year's box score again. Nebraska ran the ball for 222 yards on 41 carries. That's 5.4 yards per carry. Colorado ran the ball 33 times for just 58 yards, just 1.8 yards per carry. If you saw Colorado play North Dakota State in week 1, the running game appears to be an issue once again. The offensive line looked all right against an FCS opponent, but that's not an indication that it's going to hold up against this Nebraska defense. And let's be honest with ourselves, that result last week against North Dakota State, a lot of people will focus on those fantastic catches by Travis Hunter, Shadur Sanders having himself a great game. But at the end of the day, that was an FCS team, and they were losing at halftime, and they failed to cover, and they kicked the ball away with time on the clock instead of kneeling because Dion made a mistake at the end of the game, and they could have easily lost that game. And people will say that, North Dakota State, they're the monsters of the FCS. Well, they weren't that last year. It's South Dakota State that is the current monster of the FCS. And we saw the Cowboys throw take them behind the woodshed and put a licking on them. So that's probably what a top tier Big 12 team should do to either North Dakota or South Dakota State. And Colorado failed to do that. Now they're on the road against a Nebraska team that is trending upwards. It's a revenge spot. Colorado ran up the score on them last year. I think Matt Rule is a better coach than Dion. And the Cornhuskers have a quarterback now. I'm laying the points with Nebraska. If you like this video, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel. And if you've got anything to say to me, even if it's nasty, you hit me up in the comments below and I'll get back to you as soon as I can.